What's up? What's up? What's up? Good people, good people. Welcome to In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we talk about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I am your host for this evening, trying something a little new, trying something a little different this time around. Previously, you all know that I was doing a lot of interviewing and different things like that. And the interviews, they kind of weren't going the way that I wanted the interviews to go. So I said to myself, you know what, I'm actually going to, I'm just going to create myself a show. I'm just going to start giving, you know, some takes, some insight, some information on a couple of different things that are happening around in the social media world, online, as well as in life. A couple of things that we are going to make sure that we discuss here today. We're going to definitely talk about life. We're definitely going to talk about mentorship. We're going to talk about trending topics. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about mentorship. And of course, you know, we can't let it go without talking about just a little bit of love. I don't want this to be one of those kind of love things, but if it is something that is trending, then we definitely are going to make sure that we cover those things. But first and foremost, let's talk about life. Let's talk about a little bit about life. One of the things that I've been doing. Y'all know me. I'm always doing a whole bunch of research in terms of things that I can add to my speaking. Well, actually, let me introduce myself to those of you all who don't know me. My name is Backpack Jeff. I am a speaker. I'm an entrepreneur as well as a speaker / entrepreneur coach. So basically, anyone who wants to get into the speaking business, I typically help them, and I have great information and insight on different ways that they can get into the speaking business. So if you want to get into the speaking business, then this is going to be something that I definitely would encourage you to pay attention to. This is also going to be for teachers. This is also going to be for parents. If you have children, if you have youth, I want to make sure that they have a place where they can actually go and get the information that they need. Now, I want to make sure that they are informed. I want to make sure that we are making parenting as easy as possible. Coming from someone who has who will have a 13-year-old. Her birthday's coming up July 25th, but someone who also has a 10-month-old. So not only the quote unquote new parenting, but some of the old parenting as well. I guess it's still the new parenting, but parenting youth from different generations, almost a 12-year difference in them. And so what I want to do is I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. But before I get into that, I heard this story, y'all. I was doing some research. I was on YouTube and I heard this story and I wanted to talk about this story. And this story is about a new concept that I was researching, that I was learning. It's called learned helplessness. Before I go any further, I want to make sure that you all hit that subscribe button right now. I want to make sure that y'all make sure y'all leave a comment. If y'all coming into the live, make sure y'all let me know that y'all are in here just by tapping the screen for me real quick. I just want you to tap the screen for me real quick. If you are on TikTok, for everybody else, I want you to like, comment, as well as subscribe. Let me know that y'all are in here. But I learned this thing and it's called learned helplessness. And basically, there was a study that was done. Obviously, there's always a study that's done. I don't like to go into anything without knowing as much information as I possibly could about it. So there was a study that was done, and this study was done with 3 dogs, and they put the first dog into this cage, and nothing happened, and they ended up letting this dog leave. They put the second dog into the cage, and when they put the second dog into the cage, they also put a button into the cage. Now, the second dog, after a period of time of being in the cage, the second dog was actually shocked. After he had been shocked a couple of times, the dog realized that he can actually stop the shock by pressing on the button. So that's what the dog did. Essentially, the dog ends up pressing on the button and stopped the shock. And then they shocked the dog again for a long period of time. And then eventually the dog got the notion that if I just press this button, then I can actually stop the shock. And so after the dog realized that, they took this dog out and they let him go. Then they put a third dog into the same same cage. And what happened was there was no button in the cage this time. This dog actually just received long periods of shocks. And after a consistent long period of shock, the dog realized that there was nothing that the dog could actually do about the shock in order to stop the pain. And so they took all of these dogs, they put them back into another platform that had just a small barrier that the dogs could jump over. And there was another part of the platform that would not receive any shock. After the first shock went out, the first dog that never experienced the shock, he immediately jumped over onto the other side. The second dog, after a couple of times, he realized there was no button, and then he proceeded to follow the first dog by jumping to the other side, but he still experienced a couple of different shocks. The third dog was so conditioned from the previous experience of not being able to control the shock that this dog never even attempted to jump to the other side. The dog never attempted to jump to the other side because the dog felt like no matter what I do, I will just continue to get shocked. And it made me really think about that in terms of life and this whole concept of learned helplessness, where this dog had an opportunity to jump to the other side, but he never chose to jump to the other side. And people were left sitting wondering why the dog never jumped to the other side. And the reason being is because the dog felt like that no matter what it did, it would not be able to stop the shock. And it made me think about that in terms of life. Ain't that just like life, where sometimes life get a hold of you and you feel like you don't have any control over your life, and everything that's happening to you in life is just a result of what's going to happen to you or what's supposed to happen to you, and you have no control. Think about how many times we get into situations in our lives where we feel like we have no control. And so we stop and we give up and we say, I'm not enough. And we say, I'm not good with money. And we say, I'm not good with people. I'm not good at remembering names. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at, we start to bury ourselves in this mindset of I'm not good enough. And when I looked at and when I thought about this process of what this dog was going through, the dog was literally experiencing the same thing. Y'all, I'm not good enough, and there's nothing that I can do to stop this shock. Whereas the other two dogs, the one dog who had never felt the shock, this dog actually jumped to the other side to get himself out of the situation because he felt like there had to be something more, there had to be something better, or whatever this feeling is. I don't like this feeling of what I'm feeling. My mom is calling me doing a live. Mom, I'm on live right now. Yeah. All right, bye. But this dog felt like, there's nothing that I can do to stop the shock. So he just decided not to try anymore, or not to go over onto the other side. And that's so it's such a beautiful illustration of life. And I hope no dogs were hurt in the making of this of this study. But y'all, think about how many times we get into situations where we don't feel like we have control over the situation that we're in. And so we allow the situation that we're in to be our ending story. We allow the situation to essentially consume our lives. My suggestion to each and every one of y'all is that don't allow life to consume you. And regardless of what you're going through right now, you have more control over your life than you believe. All you have to do is jump to the other side. If you choose to jump to the other side, then you got to make sure that you jumping to the other side is you making sure that you continuously have control over your life, and that life does not have control over you. All right, cool.